She was my wife for almost 2 decades. We had 2 kids, a good house, a quiet life. I thought I knew her better than anyone, but I was wrong. Because for 3 of those years, someone else lived in our house too, hidden, watching, listening. And when I finally found him, everything I believed about love, trust, and my family collapsed. My name is Daniel. I'm 44. I live in Pennsylvania. To most, I probably seem like a boring guy. I'm the kind of man who mows his lawn every Sunday, waves at the neighbors, and brings the same ham sandwich to work every day. Predictable, safe, reliable. That was the life I believed I was building. One that would offer stability, love, and peace. Carla was my high school sweetheart. The kind of girl who carried around a dog-eared copy of Sylvia Plath and smelled like lavender and ink. I fell for her the moment she helped me cheat off her paper in biology. We were each other's first kiss, first heartbreak, and eventually, husband and wife. We got married at 24, bought a modest 2-story home with peeling white paint and a porch swing that creaked like a horror movie sound effect. But we loved it. That creak was the background music to our morning coffees and late-night talks. We had 2 kids. Lily, now 16, who's fiercely independent and smarter than I'll ever be. And Marcus, 13, who still believes in superheroes and sleeps with a baseball bat under his bed, just in case. They were the center of my world. Our family was everything. For most of our marriage, Carla stayed home, raising the kids and building a warm, artistic space filled with books, plants, and painted mugs from the local market. 3 years ago, when Marcus turned 10, she picked up a part-time job at a cozy local bookstore. It was supposed to be her escape, her place. That's what I told myself. I look back now and see the red flags. The way she'd stare at her phone and smile at messages she never showed me. The way she started staying late at the store. The sudden interest in wearing perfume again. But I ignored it. Because when you love someone for 20 years, you want to believe that love means forever. It started subtly. Strange noises above our heads. It wasn't every night. Just occasionally. Like someone was dragging a bag or shifting boxes. I'd go up to the attic and find nothing. Maybe a moved lamp or a fallen picture frame. But nothing conclusive. Carla always had an answer. Probably squirrels, she'd say. Or, you're hearing things. Maybe you're just tired. And maybe I was. Working 10-hour shifts at the auto shop, then coaching Marcus's baseball, then helping Lily prep for her college entry essays. Maybe my mind was playing tricks. Then came the food. At first, it was leftovers. One night it was the rest of a shepherd's pie that vanished. Another time, 2 cans of soda were missing. Carla blamed the kids. The kids blamed each other. I didn't press it. Then it escalated. Things started moving. A photo frame on my desk was turned backward. My electric razor ended up in the kitchen drawer. My favorite hoodie, gone for 2 weeks, suddenly reappeared folded on the couch. And one morning, I woke up and found the basement door unlocked. We never used that door. That was when I stopped brushing it off. Something was wrong. I installed motion-activated cameras, 2 of them, one in the kitchen, one facing the hallway where the attic hatch was. I told no one. For 3 nights. Nothing. Then, on the 4th, at exactly 2:13 a.m., the hallway camera flickered. A man. In my house. He descended from the attic like he'd done it 100 times. He was tall, lanky, wearing an oversized hoodie. He moved like he belonged. Like this was routine. He walked into the kitchen, opened the fridge, ate chicken with his bare hands. He drank from the milk carton. Then he turned and looked straight at the camera. He smiled. Not a surprised smile. Not embarrassment. A slow, deliberate smile. I froze. The footage felt like a nightmare. I must have watched it 10 times, hoping it would change. Hoping it would turn out to be a glitch or some cruel prank. I grabbed a crowbar from the garage and climbed into the attic. It was worse than I imagined. There was a mattress laid across insulation and plywood. Fast food wrappers. A camping lantern, a pile of my old books. Some with my name scratched out. A half-eaten bag of chips, and pinned to the wooden beam. A Polaroid photo of Carla. Younger. Smiling. Wearing the same sundress she wore on our 10th anniversary. Next to it, letters. Dozens. Maybe more. Love letters, lust letters. Angry ones. Desperate ones. All from him. All to her. I sat there for nearly an hour, reading. My hands shaking. My heart pounding like it wanted to escape my chest. He talked about me. About how she told him our marriage was dead. How they were waiting for the right time. How I'd never suspect a thing. I didn't call the police. I waited. When Carla came home from work, I sat at the kitchen table, the stack of letters in front of me. She walked in, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "Everything okay?" I didn't answer. I slid a letter across the table. She read the first line, then stopped. Her face changed. First confusion, then horror, then silence. I asked, "How long?" She didn't answer, just started crying. She told me his name was Tom, that they dated before me, that when we hit a rough patch 5 years ago, she looked him up. "It was just emails at first," she said. Then coffee. Then hotel rooms. Then one night she brought him home, while I was away at a training conference. I felt like I couldn't breathe. She said he lost his job, that he had nowhere to go, that she didn't know what else to do. "So you hid him? In our attic?" I thought it would just be for a night. Maybe a week. It became 3 years. 3 years of him sneaking down when I was working late. 3 years of her lying to my face. 3 years of him watching my kids grow up. I asked her, "Did you ever think about what would happen if he snapped?" She said nothing. I called the police. They came that night. Found him still in the attic, curled up like he belonged there. He didn't resist, just smiled as they put him in cuffs. The cops found a journal. In it, he wrote about our family like we were a show he was watching. Page after page of entries about Lily's habits, Marcus's routines, our private conversations. It made me sick. Carla and I separated immediately. I filed for divorce. She didn't fight it. The kids stayed with me. I couldn't let them near that house again. We moved. New city, new job, new school. But the damage was deep. Every creak in the floorboards at night still makes my heart race. I check the attic weekly, even though I know it's empty. And sometimes, in the dark, I still see his smile. Because betrayal doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it lives above your head. The move was supposed to fix things. A new city, a rental home with no attic, fresh schools, and quiet neighbors. I told myself this was a second chance. For me, and more importantly, for my kids. But trauma doesn't pack itself in a box. It comes with you. The first few months, Lily barely spoke to me. She withdrew into music and sketchbooks, drawing faceless figures and dark staircases. Marcus kept asking, "Will Mom come visit?" But I never had the heart to answer. Not really. Carla tried at first. She'd call, send letters. But the trust had shattered like a windshield hit by a brick. Every word from her felt like broken glass. Eventually, she stopped trying. We started therapy. All of us. I didn't believe in it at first. Sitting in a beige room with a woman named Sharon, who wore chunky necklaces and asked me how I felt. But Marcus started sleeping through the night again. Lily made eye contact, and I started breathing a little deeper. Yet something still haunted me. Not just the betrayal, but the why. Why didn't I see it? Why did Carla let it go on so long? What did Tom really want? I went back to the letters. I still had them. I told myself I'd throw them out, burn them maybe. But I didn't. Instead, I read every one. One stood out. Dated 11 months before I discovered him. It ended with, "She won't ever tell you. But I've been in your room. I know what you smell like. I know how you breathe in your sleep. One day, you'll be gone, and she'll be mine again." That was the night I bought the gun. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want to use it, but I couldn't live as prey anymore. 6 months after we moved, I got a letter. It had no return address, no name. Just my name, written in neat capital letters. Inside, a single piece of paper and a photo. The photo was of Tom, sitting on a bed, smiling. And next to him, a hand, a woman's hand resting on his knee. The letter simply read, "She visits me." I took the photo and burned it in the sink, but I kept the envelope. I didn't tell Lily or Marcus. I told Sharon, our therapist. She said it was probably a provocation, a mind game. He wanted me to feel powerless, but it worked. I couldn't sleep. Every sound in the house felt like footsteps. I started locking every window, every door. I installed alarms, cameras. I even placed motion sensors under the windowsills. One night, Lily knocked on my bedroom door. "Dad, you're scaring us." I looked at her and realized I was becoming the very thing I feared. So I left the house the next day and drove 4 hours to the prison. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. It took 3 weeks to get visitation. When he walked into the room, I felt a chill run down my spine. He looked thinner, hollow, but his eyes were the same. He smiled. "Daniel," he said, like we were old friends meeting at a bar. I wanted to punch him. Instead, I sat down. "Why?" I asked. He shrugged. "You ever love someone so much, you'd rather live in her walls than lose her?" I said nothing. He leaned closer. "You didn't see her the way I did. You saw a wife, a mother. I saw her fire, her sadness, her brilliance. You turned her into wallpaper. I reminded her she was art." My jaw clenched. "You ruined our lives." He nodded slowly. "Sometimes. Things need to break so they can be rebuilt." I stood up. "You're not coming back. Ever." He smiled again. But I never left. I walked out and never looked back. Over the next year, things slowly began to heal. Lily joined a photography club. Marcus made the baseball team. I met people. A woman named Grace started coming to our therapy group. Widowed, quiet, kind eyes. We talked, then we had coffee, then dinner. I told her everything, not on the first date, but eventually, she listened. Not with pity, but with presence. She didn't try to fix me. She just stayed. One day, Marcus asked if she could stay for dinner. I nearly cried. That night, after everyone went to bed, I sat alone in the living room. And for the first time in 2 years, I didn't check the attic. But just when I thought the story was over, another letter arrived. This time, it was addressed to Lily, from her mother. Inside was a journal, Carla's journal. And on the last page, a single line. I never meant for him to stay that long. We don't talk about Carla much now. She lives alone. 2 states away. She and Lily exchange emails. Marcus still hasn't spoken to her. I don't force it. I just love them. Love, I've learned, isn't always pretty. It's not always honest. It doesn't always survive. But sometimes, when the pieces fall just right, it rebuilds. Not the same, but stronger. And that, I suppose, is what this story is really about. Not the attic. Not the lies. Not even the man who watched us sleep. But the quiet, painful rebirth of a man who lost everything and found himself again. One morning, one breath, one honest moment at a time.